Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. This is another episode of The Night Shift.
This is your brother Nafis Abu Zaid.
This is Isa Abu Isa.
Alhamdulillah, this night shift will be, inshallah ta'ala, touching on the issue, what now, SP and co, that Muhammed bin Haadee, Sheikh Muhammed bin Haadee, hafidhullah, have broken his silence.
Nah. And this is not going to be about all the details of what's going on between these scholars, because we're going to leave that to the ulama. But we're going to use it as an example. Muhammed bin Haadee,
Sheikh Muhammed bin
Haadee, hafidhullah ta'ala, has broken his silence and came out and refuted or spoke about or criticized some scholars, the likes of Juhayni and the likes of Abdullah Abdul Fari, and also Sheikh Ubaid himself. And Ibn Barak, Hani al-Barak. And the reason that he's doing that, he's saying that Hani al-Barak and these, like Juhayni and them, have fallen into issues or characteristics of the Khawarij, dealing in politics, speaking out against the rulers and things that lead you into being attributes of the Khawarij, according to Muhammad bin Haadee. But Abdullah al-Dhufari, he mentioned, or he praises these individuals, keep defending them, why Muhammad bin Haadee is speaking out against them. So Muhammad bin Haadee made a whole audio where he criticized Abdullah al-Dhufari and the other two mentioned, and also mentioned Sheikh Ubaid, saying that he was wrong and what he's saying, and taking back his response, and now defending these individuals. He took that back. Muhammad bin Haadee said that is now going against the manhaj of the Salaf. And we're not giving you our opinion. We're just about to bring you up to a point that we want to make. And that point is that what is now Salafi publications and their cohorts and their franchises are going to do now. Because Muhammad bin Haadee is someone they took from. Sheikh Ubaid is someone that they take from. Abdullah al-Fadi, they just had a lecture with him a few months back where they put him out in the forefront. And now they have their particular scholars where they used to all go to, now defending, arguing and criticizing one another. And also Abdullah Bukhari, may Allah preserve him, they also, Sheikh Muhammad bin Haadee, saying he's being silent about these particular people he deems to be upon innovation. So according to these principles that they've been using against us and our communities for so long, that being silent about innovation means that you're what? An innovator. So what are they going to do now? Because they have a couple of things. They either have to say that they're not going to take the refutation of Muhammad bin Haadee. They're going to say that it's ijtihad, which we've been saying all along. Sheikh Fawzan, Sheikh Louis Haydam been saying all along that it's ijtihad. Or they're going to refute and agree with Muhammad bin Haadee and refute Abdullah al-Dhufari and leave alone Sheikh Ubaid and leave alone Abdullah Bukhari. Or they're going to refute Muhammad bin Haadee. Or they're going to remain silent, period, which according to their principles, that's also upholding innovation. So we just were like the ball is in the court of these individuals. And it shows that this refutation culture leads to this type of chaos. Because when you back yourself into a corner with these principles that are misused, and some of them are just not even from the Sunnah, or some of them you're using them in extreme ways, you find yourself cornered. Now you have to now apply these principles to your scholars and to your group. And how do you do that? How do you now apply these principles to this particular situation? It looks ugly, it looks bad, and we've been telling everybody for all along, this is what this is going to lead to. They're going to eat one another up like a cancer, and this is exactly what they're doing.
So what do you say, Abu Isa, about those individuals who say that the talks focusing on what's transpiring between the four sacred mashaykhs, especially between two of them, or three of them rather, Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari, Sheikh Muhammad Haadee, and Sheikh Ubaid, what is the benefit in highlighting or even touching or addressing this issue? What is the benefit?
I mean, this is the thing. Only reason that these things get highlighted because y'all started that culture of highlighting everything that goes on between scholars. You brought that culture to us. So at the end of the day, you can't say what's the benefit of it when you have taught your people in your group that people are refuted because of these particular things. And when a scholar says something, it's law. So this is your culture. This is your manhaj. This is your principles. So at the end of the day, you say, what's the benefit? Yeah, what is the benefit? What's the benefit about refuting all the people that you refuted? And looking for their mistakes and making it public to the general public. Now that it's coming back to bite you, No, we got to keep it out of the general public. Now, when it comes back to bite you, and one of the brothers from Britain actually put the audio up. He was criticized for putting the audio up by Salafi publication. He took it back down and recanted him putting the audio up in the first place. So it looks like they're going to side with Sheikh Obeid on the issue. That's what it looks like they're going to do. But they're remaining quiet. So the benefit is this. There is no benefit. You're going to keep on bringing what these scholars are saying. But the issue is that if it wasn't from amongst yourselves, would you be trying to quiet it? Would you be saying, what's the benefit? What's the benefit of finding mistakes of Mufti? What's the benefit of finding mistakes of Abu Zayd? What's the benefit of finding mistakes of the brothers at Thamarat? What's the benefit of any of that? You did it using these same principles.
Now, this scenario that we see transpiring in front of us by the permission of Allah Jalla wa Ala, Sheikh al-Islam ibn Taymiyyah, rahmatullahi ta'ala alayhi, as our brother Muhammed Munir, he mentioned that the Sheikh, he brought a beautiful point. He said you will never see two groups that oppose one another except that they're on the opposite extreme, meaning that there's extremism on both ends. There's no middle course. So if you see one group opposing another group, it's because that other group went to an extreme or felt into some extremism.
No.
And what is the point of this? That you find that those two groups opposing each other. And for example, this cannot happen too long. The Sheikh went on to talk about rudud, refutation, that it seems as if it's going to happen where they're going to start eating each other up. And we have seen this refutation culture for far too long. And we have seen it even amongst ourselves, even down to the lay people and in our communities. Those who don't know Aleph Bata, those who don't know the Al-Fatiha, those who don't know the ABCs of the five pillars, the five pillars, the 6 articles, and so forth and so on, etc. And we see that they have accustomed themselves to dealing with, don't take from so-and-so.
Nah.
So-and-so has been refuted by Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari.
Nah.
So-and-so, Sheikh Rabi'a said this.
Exactly.
Sheikh Obeid said that.
You see that.
The brothers have said this. And we see this.
Yep.
However, now those same mashaykh that were the mashaykh, as Bilal Davis have so eloquently put it, when he made his series, Doubts Around the Dawah, he mentioned that our mashaykh, and he was talking about the likes of Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari, Sheikh Obeid, Sheikh Muhammad bin Haadee, and Sheikh Rabi'. He mentioned that our mashaykhs, he said that our mashaykh, they have advised us with this. They have instructed us with this. And if this is the case, now your mashaykh are actually going at one another.
No.
Right?
Yeah.
Off the same issues that you have broke up communities. Communities was actually destroyed.
No.
Brotherhood was actually destroyed.
No.
Sisterhood was actually destroyed based off of you cannot accept a rud that's ijtihad. You can't say, for example, Sheikh so-and-so deemed so-and-so to be an innovator. I give you, for example, Sheikh Rabi' deeming that Sheikh Yahya al-Hajuri being an innovator, or he felt it's an innovation. A person who doesn't agree with that or doesn't accept that ruling from Sheikh Rabi' is in reality, right, in support of, and he needs to be warned because he's in support of Sheikh Yahya. They did this to Brother Naeem. They did exactly the same thing to Naeem Abu Abdullah. The same principle. Now, here is Sheikh Muhammad Haadee. He's saying, hold up, Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari, why you're being silent? Why you're not saying nothing in face of this? Right?
Exactly.
Because this is not from the minhaj, as Sheikh Muhammad Haadee is making the claim.
Exactly.
Sheikh Obeid comes back and says, well, don't be deceived by the warning of Sheikh Muhammad Haadee. This talk is not about those scholars. This talk is about the brothers who have, for years, used similar principles against one another and destroyed each other.
Yep. And that's what we see. And at the end of the day, how are you going to apply those principles to this situation?
How?
Because now, wherever way you go, one of those scholars, according to your principle, is a deviant. One of those scholars, according to your principle, are deviants. If not so, then refutation or ijtihad, and we don't have to take the refutation of none of them.
And the point we're trying to bring, throughout the summer, the night shift, alhamdulillah, we have been bringing different statements of the ulama, of both the past and the present, and we have been dealing with different qawaid principles, and we have seen that everything is not black and white, as many people have painted the picture that is black and white. So we would like to say for the lay people, what is the benefit of you listening to this night shift, this episode tonight? We want to say the benefit is that now you have to see through all of this. You have to open your eyes now. And you have to stop blind following. You have to stop taking, that's the person I learned from, let's take his word. I'm going to take his word for none. Look at it, and you have to understand the truth. There are different scholars who hold the position that what? When it comes to placing tabdir', it is not ijtihad.
No, some say
okay?
that.
There are some scholars who say, like Sheikh Fawzan and Sheikh Haadee, as we brought those statements, they say
Sheikh
that
Muhsin
no.
al-Abbad.
Sheikh Muhsin al-Abbad, Sheikh Ibrahim Abu Hayli.
No.
They mentioned that yes, it is actually ijtihad based upon a scholar, his own independent research.
Exactly.
When he makes a claim that so-and-so is a deviant.
No. Exactly.
What is my point? You have to understand now that this is the case. So you can't say that there's one rule, one sole authority. You can't say the brothers from S Pub, I'm going to take whatever they say and whatever stance they take is one. No, because in these issues there are difference of opinions
amongst the ulama
themselves. So how can you make something mutlaq? How can you
Yeah.
make something unrestricted, absolute?
Exactly.
I'm going to take this or I'm going to take
Exactly.
that. You have an individual, for example, who say that talks like this is like, you know, we are Germantown haters, or we are S Pub haters, or we, you know, these statements they make that, you know, we hate on the brothers. And in reality, we're not hating on no one. And you know, alhamdulillah, and we don't hate our brothers as if many people say we hate those brothers. No, we do not hate them. But in reality, we are going to advise one another and we are going to admonish one another. And this is the job of every Muslim.
Exactly. And you can't say because you don't agree with a particular group of people, you hate the Sunnah because you don't agree with them.
Nah.
So, I mean, the whole thing is that we have to understand is that this is the games. This is the games. And when you play these games, it's almost like you're a mouse trapped into a corner. You know, you become a mouse trapped in the corner. And, you know, at this point, like we're going to keep, like this point, how do you now, we're going to keep saying it, apply those extreme refutation principles to this particular situation?
And if you remain silent at this point, then one, that means you are agreeing that it is ijtihad.
Yeah.
You're agreeing now that placing tabdir' is ijtihad. So now you're going to owe an apology to everyone you refuted based off that principle. If you remain silent. If you say, okay, we don't speak about these affairs, if you remain silent. If you don't remain silent and you say, okay, we agree with Sheikh Ubaid, okay, or we agree with Sheikh Muhammed Haadee, you see how this can actually become a catch-22? Either way you look at it, you're
refuting a scholar. And the brothers who will stay with Sheikh Muhammad bin Haadee, right? Now you got to deem them deviants, even if they're from your own people. So now your faction breaks off into 2 or 3 other factions now, and now you have to now refute everybody who didn't agree with Sheikh Ubaid, and everybody who agreed with Sheikh Muhammad bin Haadee now has to refute everybody who went with Sheikh Ubaid. You see what happens?
And the nasty part about it is I've been watching lately all the comments that have been placed up. If you think about it, like with the different positive movements that have been done, the different lectures, the different activities, like such as the Imam Muslim Family Center, such as the Hadith Disciples doing an East Orange, dealing with the Tasbih with Tarbiyah. And every time you mention certain names, due to a lot of the stuff that has been projected by Salafi publications, people automatically throw their guard up. If you hear Muhammad Munir name, automatically your guard go up. You hear Ali Davis, your guard go up. If you hear any of these names, Dean Muhammad, your guard goes up. And it's sad because in reality, the same strife and the same problems that they've been doing to everybody else is happening right now in their backyard. It is happening right now in their backyard. I mean, what more sign do you need now? You have Sheikh Muhammad Haadee speaking against Sheikh Ubaid. You have individuals who was grinding up the brother Abu Taymiyyah, who is a student in Medina right now, on Twitter for advising Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari on Twitter.
Yeah.
They was calling him, you know, he's young, he's an imbecile, and he's so forth and so on. They was making these statements about him. But here it is, you have Sheikh Muhammad Haadee, who Abu Khadija went out of his way, brothers and sisters, during the summer. I remember when we was doing the night shift, Abu Khadija went out of his way to bring up all praises of Sheikh Muhammad Haadee for Maktabat Salafiyah, for the public, for the Salafi publications. He brought up all of the old praise that was actually mentioned about Salafi publications. Now, what are you going to do? Everybody is waiting to see what is your response. I'm not waiting for your response.
No, I'm not.
What I'm waiting for is to remove the shaitanic plots, to remove the ignorance, and to actually become consolidated. Start working with your brothers and admit to the fact that those brothers alhamdulillah, or whether they're stronger than you academically or not. Just start working with one another. Remove that failure, even though I know that this is a long shot and this is not going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm not fooled, and I'm not saying this overlook everything that the brothers did. But I'm just saying, like, we have to reach a goal. And the commoners, you have to stop this stuff. Just because a person mentions something from the other side, since people always say sides, mention something from the other side, you don't have to sneak and listen to the other side.
No,
you can listen to the other side without just same way you listen to the others. If you go to a Germantown lecture, you shouldn't feel guilty if you go to a lecture that you listen to for Thamarat. I mean, you shouldn't have to feel guilty. And that's the problem. The problem is you hear individuals say, they say nothing about Germantown. Their lecture is nothing. But then the first thing you hear, the brothers from Germantown telling you, don't go down there. Don't sit with them. Don't do this. Don't do that. They don't have no right to talk now. Because if you don't tell us who you taking sides with, Sheikh Ubaid or Sheikh Muhammed Haadee, Sheikh Abdul, you're supporting what? Hani Bariq, he's dealing in politics.
Yep.
The same reason why they blast out Sheikh Tahir Wyatt. The same reason why they got rid of the imam that they had up there during the time, same with the old administration that they had. When they got rid of the brother Tariq. Yep. When they brought the governor, I think, to the area. Yep. The same, all these reasons, politics.
And it's the thing. And now Sheikh Ubaid is defending people who's doing the same thing, but you won't refute them.
The same thing that you find the likes of Bilal Davis and his doubts around the dawah trying to paint a picture in the minds of the commoners about Sheikh Wasil al-Abbas when he made his statement about politics.
Yeah.
So if you're going to play these double standards here, it's the same thing. Now you're going to have to apologize.
And the thing about it now, do you now refute Sheikh Ubaid for defending those same principles you say are not the Sunnah? Because if Sheikh Ubaid, according to your principle, according to yours, not ours, if he's defending these individuals, according to his ijtihad, because he may not see those things from those brothers, he may know them better or whatever. I don't know the detail of the situation. But at the end of the day, according to you, dealing in politics, getting involved with the governments and all that type of stuff like that, what happened in Germantown with those brothers, that old administration, they got refuted for that. Sheikh Ubaid is now defending people who Muhammed Haadee believes is doing the same exact thing.
Or are we wrong if we say that's ajib? The stance and the position of Sheikh Ubaid is ajib. This is what you said about Sheikh Wasil al-Abbas. You said that his statements, Bilal Davis actually said this. He said his positions was ajib about Green Lane Masjid. He mentioned the issue that you said that, okay, he said there's a Sufi on the panel. So Sheikh Wasil al-Abbas asked him, okay, as Bilal Davis quoted, close to quote, he said the Sheikh asked him, is he calling to his Sufism? And you responded by saying, we were amazed. This is ajib. So we are amazed now that Sheikh Muhammad Haadee is criticizing Sheikh Ubaid for supporting people who get involved in politics?
Should we be amazed by that? We should be amazed by that.
This should be amazed, right?
Because you did it to the old administration at Germantown. It even got scholars involved to get them removed.
Commoners, when are you going to wake up? You don't have to sit here and pick sides. Allah Jalla wa'ala is not going to sit here and ask you about Fulan and Alan, this student or that student. Allah is going to ask you what the Prophet ﷺ informed you of, like your salat, like different things that you have done. Allah Jalla wa'ala is going to worry about you, so you don't have to keep here picking sides. You find individuals saying, well, I'm not going to deal with them, I'm not going to deal with them. We have to stop that. And we have to ignore whenever our brothers want to go on a refutation tantrum. Yeah. Whenever they want to start refuting so-and-so. And I wanted to take this time to mention something, and this might be, some people might say I'm hating, but I'm not. Actually, just a reality. I mean, a brother said to me over the weekend, he said, Brother Nafis, the Germantown has a lecture up there. I said, alhamdulillah, may Allah reward them, they got a lecture.
Ameen.
Then I said to them, well, brother, I just got finished burying my cousin. And when I looked at the title on the Germantown lecture, I realized it's the same title and the same theme and the same discussion that was previous lecture, and the lecture before that, and then the conference before that, and the conference before that. I said, when are we going to start talking about domestic violence? When are we going to start talking about murder? Senseless killing, kathratul harj, as the Prophet ﷺ said, is the sign from the hours. People getting killed. The murderer don't know the reason why he got murdered, and the person who's getting killed, the person who's doing the murdering don't know the reason why he murdered someone.
Group economics. We're going to
talk about group economics. When we're going to have a lecture that deals with the everyday thing that we face within our communities. Alhamdulillah, I'm with Tawheed. I mean,
mental health.
I'm with Tawheed. Don't get me wrong. I mean, Aqidah. I mean, we know that. That's the usul. But in reality, when we're going to address these issues that are pertinent, when we're going to address rape, when we're going to address rape,
police brutality,
when we're going to address these issues and stop thinking it's ikhwani. These are the words they throw out there, though. That's ikhwani talk. No, that's not. That's reality. Allah Jalla wa Ala addressed every community in all of the ills.
But didn't Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he says, Ati Allah, he says, Wa'budullah wa ati'un. And then he said, worship Allah, and then obey that messenger that was sent to you. Then he mentioned being just and weight and measure. Then he mentioned don't be homosexual.
Dealing with
then
the
he mentioned
ills.
don't be oppressors. Then he mentioned on and on and on and on and on.
Dealing with the ills.
Exactly.
When are we going to talk about that?
Exactly.
When are we going to talk about, lesbianism?
Yeah, homosexuality. Which is rampant in the Muslim community.
And they're getting younger and younger.
Exactly.
These are the things, and
suicide.
It's not to take nothing away, alhamdulillah, for those people who actually went up there and benefited. May Allah Jalla wa Ala allow you to take it home and benefit it. You and your family with it. I'm not taking shots on that. Then if you look at the other brothers who had another lecture, they was doing tasfiyah with Talibiyah. Okay? That's another beneficial. Sheikh Muhammed giving his class. That was a little bit benefit I caught from in dealing with certain ills and
like
stuff
suicide
like that.
And things like that,
and those type of things. So if you look at it, it's benefit, brothers, that's all around. And we don't have to feel like Germantown is looking over our shoulder or somehow we're getting brownie points with Salafi publications if, we don't listen to so-and-so. You ain't getting no brownie points with Salafi publication if you don't listen to so-and-so.
First of all, reward and punishment not in their hands.
Not at all. Guidance and misguidance is not in their hands.
No, it's
so
not.
You have to realize, and Allah is showing you, this is the bad part about it. Everybody was saying everything they want. That the biggest fitna that happened to us is the likes of Sheikh Tahir Wyatt. Now look at him. He got a seat. All right?
Mm-hmm.
Now they say the biggest fitna is this and this and that. Don't listen to the brothers. They're innovators. Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari. Look what he said about Muftadi. They call him Muftadi and not Mufti. Muftadi, the deceiver. Look what he said about this. He refuted him, right? Mm-hmm. Now look what Sheikh Muhammad Haadee is saying about Sheikh Obeid.
And Abdullah Bukhari.
Allah is showing you. He just keep putting signs right in front of you.
And y'all keep missing them.
You just keep missing.
I give you something that we're missing. This thing about who's not clear. Like, for example, say if me and him, I'm on one side of the fence, he's on the other, and I speak out against a certain masjid, a certain imam, and he doesn't. Now, I'm going to say he's not clear because he's being silent about a clear innovator. He's being silent about the innovation. He's being silent about bid'ah. Either he's okay with it, right, or he's supporting it, right? Well, why are you not applying it to Abdullah Bukhari? Why you're not applying that same principle that Abdullah, because Muhammad Haadee obviously applying that principle. He's saying that being silent in a situation that he believes Abdullah Bukhari is clear on, why he being quiet about people who see going against the manhaj of the Sunnah. So at the end of the day, y'all use this same principle on Tahir, Mufti, Shadid, Thamarat, us, everybody that wasn't with you. Why you're not going to apply it now to Abdullah Bukhari, Muhammad Haadee, who you say you follow as a scholar, is applying it to him?
And this question is directed to, Salafi Pub and their cohorts.
Yeah.
As far as what we mean by seat, we mean that he has a chair, like the different mashaykhs. When you go over, for those Allah Jalla blessed to go overseas, when you go into the Prophet's Masjid, or even when you go into the Haram in Mecca, you're going to see that there are chairs located. And different mashaykhs, they teach from there. So Sheikh Tahir, which got in front of it, he has a chair, which is a seat, that's inside the Prophet's Masjid. And Allah Jalla wa Ala also blessed him that every 3 months out of the year, now that he's done, he get to go back overseas and still continue his teaching in the Prophet's Masjid. Allahu Akbar. Now this is not about Team Tahir versus Team Somali, or Team Mufti versus Team Team Salafi Publication. This is not that. And I know a lot of you brothers, y'all hear me, or sisters, y'all hear me always mention about those brothers. I only do that to show you that the contrast. Like, okay, for so long we've been getting so much slack. For so long, people have been sitting around saying you can't mention those names. I remember being here when we wasn't called Masjid Ibn Taymiyyah, we was called Masjid Toba. I remember brothers were sitting around saying, well, would you invite Tahir down here? Would you invite Mufti down here? And these was the type of conversations we were having. People were saying, well, would you do this or do that? And it's like, Germantown ain't coming down here no way. You had the brothers from nowhere, they was coming down supporting you, but you had to sit there and fight and debate whether or not you was going to deal with someone who was beneficial and was going to come to you and help you.
Nah,
all based off of what someone painted a picture of.
Well, Co is we're talking about in those who support Salafi publications like Somali and Hassan Malik and those type of brothers and those Anwar Wright and all of them. They are called the Co, meaning there's the franchises of Salafi publications in different parts of the country, in different countries.
And they all support of one another. And we're not saying that it's a crime because they support one another, but we're not going to act like we're going to turn a blind eye neither. They support one another in that which they're doing, and they support one another to the point where as though if one of them are wrong, they're not going to criticize him being wrong. We have not seen this. And I challenge anyone right now to name one time you ever seen Salafi publications or anyone other part of their co-hosts ever recant a statement.
SubhanAllah. Let me ask you this then. How would you explain this? What do we do with the detailed refutation and the refutation not detailed in this situation?
well, according to
SubhanAllah, how do we do that?
According to the 35-minute talk of Sheikh Muhammed Haadee, which seemed to be like one part, it might be more.
He said he's going to have two.
He's going to have two. Mm-hmm. So part one had 35 minutes where Sheikh Muhammed Haadee actually went on a rant. All right, that was detailed. According to that was detailed. Yeah. Now Sheikh Obeid, if you listen to his clip, which was he didn't even give much.
It was a minute. It was only a minute, 58 seconds.
Where he mentioned don't be deceived by the warning. So if you look at that, according to their principles, and from Sheikh Rabi' Hafidhullah, according from their principles and their mashaykhs, they have to take the detailed criticism over what?
Over the non-detailed criticism.
But brothers and sisters, guess what our brothers going to do? And, I'm no psychic or nothing like that. Only Allah knows best. They're going to remain silent. They're going to do what Sheikh Abdullah Bukhari is doing right now.
He's being refuted by Muhammad bin Haadee for doing.
They're going to remain silent.
In which they refuted everybody that's not a part of their or their group for doing in the past, remaining silent on a particular situation or individual. They're going to do the same exact thing here.
Why? Because it's in their best interest to remain silent. If they speak, you see, and if they take up a side, they got to wait to see how it's going to, which way the coin going to toss. So they're not going to come out and put themselves out. They're not even they're not going to address it, right? Because they don't want to put themselves in they got to come out somehow winning.
Yeah, they got to.
They got
They're trying to figure it out. They're trying to figure it out. Because all they're going to say is, that's Muhammad Haad's ijtihad. Well, subhanAllah, we've been saying that for months now, that it's his ijtihad. That I don't have to take the refutation of any scholar that you say I have to take. You can't hold me to that. So that's what they're going to say. And if they say it's ijtihad, they have to eat their words and apologize to everybody who said it's ijtihad, or they remain silent. Then the people are going to say, well, doesn't that make you innovators now according to your principles? Then they're going to find some way to shift around that.
But Allah Jalla wa'ala is al-adl. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the just. And watch how it plays out. It's going to keep playing out. Sheikh Muhammad Haadee is going to give his part too. And you're going to hear more stuff come out. And you're going to see how it's going to play. And it's going to be overlooking. And at this point, when that clear sign is in your face like that, it's safe to say, from where I'm standing at, that most of you are following them because you're following the personality and got nothing to do with deen. And I'm not telling you not to follow them. I'm saying benefit where you can benefit from. But don't follow them in this wicked, crazy, in the way refutation.
Allah is exposing,
unjust.
Allah is exposing that the culture they created is laughable, it's a joke, and it's destructive, and it's a cancer. Allah is showing you right now. Allah is showing you right now that it's a cancer.
And brothers and sisters, if we were to do it, we had the idea before. If we were to go back and take a fine comb and overlook all of the refutations that you've seen came from Salafi publications against people and different brothers, you'll be amazed how many mistakes we'll find. Sheikh Khalid Uthman, right? He mentioned in a brother actually sent this to us. Mm-hmm. He thought he was applying it to us about the Wahhabiyya.
Oh, the Wahhabiyya,
right, of the internet.
Yeah.
In his talk, Sheikh Khalid Uthman, Hafidhullah, he mentioned that if you just see a little bit of what they put on the websites and on social media, he said, imagine if you was to go deeper, how much more stuff you will find. So just imagine if you was to go look, how much more stuff will you find that these refutations were unjust to begin with.
Exactly.
They were unjust to begin with. Strictly unjust. And I'm not saying that we overlook everything. And I'm not saying that, it just is a free party, you be your way, to me be mine. I'm not saying none of that. And I'm not in agreement with, all of us, alhamdulillah, we just come together and work. I'm not in agreement with that neither. But what I'm not going to stand by is you refuting somebody unjustly.
Yeah, no. And then refuting Ahlul Sunnah the same as refuting Ahlul Bid'ah. Has to be done differently. That's a clear manhaj principle in the Dawah Salafiyya.
How many mashaykhs are left? Everybody that normally visit the camp of Salafi publication
Has been refuted.
How many left?
You know? The thing about it is that, we have to understand that when are we going to get back to really what is the basics?
Ain't this got to be weird? I went to the in defense of the Salafi Minhaj. I remember going here because I was speaking to Abu Hassan Malik after the talk. I remember going here and they had the highlighting Sheikh there. They had Sheikh Falah. Ibn Ismail al-Mundakar, Kuwait. And they was actually had a Sheikh there and they was actually questioning. He was Sheikh Hayakallah and so forth. The next year they stopped banging out with the Sheikh. He was off it.
Yep.
Before that they had Sheikh Salam at-Tawil.
He was off it.
They went up there. They've been stopped messing with Akil Ingram at this point. But they went up there, got Sheikh Salam Tawil to come down where they was at.
No.
And then a year after that, he was off it.
Yeah. Then before that, they bought Fawza Athari. Then he was off it.
Just look at the pattern. You just have to look at the pattern. This type of game of going from one mashayikh, raising them and dropping them, that's
and I give you another. I think is if you listen to our brother Abdul Baker brought something to my attention, right? It was when Abu Khadija said he's waiting for the legend to recant their mistake. He was talking about back then when they refuted Halabi. He didn't agree at the time. He actually defended Halabi at the time. So they should apply the principle of Abu Khadija at the time. He'd have been a deviant according to their principle. But anyway, that was then. He said he waiting for the legend. He waiting for the legend to recant their mistake. Or is he now going to say the same thing openly about Muhammad bin Haadee? Or Sheikh Ubaid? Or Sheikh Abdul Bukhari?
Not to mention the fact that Abu Khadija wasn't even nobody noteworthy to even make a statement like that.
Yeah.
He wasn't an alim. On any level to make a statement about a body of scholars. Now, the Legend of Daim is a body of scholars. So a body of scholars make a ruling on someone, and you sit there and say, I'm going to wait for them to recant.
SubhanAllah.
You see, you don't see that? That's amazing. That's a person being amazed with oneself.
Yeah.
But I understand the issue where he got it from. You have to understand that there was a mashayikh that he took from that actually made some statements too. We would not go into all of that, but similar about the Legend of Daim.
Exactly.
But so you're gonna stand where that kind of rub off at.
No, called the Legend Na'ima.
Yeah, waliyadu billah.
No.
So we ask Allah Jalla wa'ala to make us, of those who really are trying to rectify our communities and benefit with those whom Allah Jalla wa'ala placed in front of us. How many students you see going overseas left and right? Name them. I'll wait. How many people you see and actually graduating? I'll wait. Not only graduating, attaining degrees. I'll wait. So down the people who are very few who are who are actually receiving these degrees and they are actually reaching these higher levels of academics, we can't take from them.
No, we can't.
We can't benefit from them. But we can benefit from individuals who spent about 6 months to a year in Yemen. We can benefit and take from because their minhaj is sound. We can take from people who've been on and off back and forth to Egypt. We can take the people who's got D's, in their grades when they was in Medina.
Or somebody who studied for a year, 20 years ago, hasn't been back overseas to study after that, but he's now in a position of power in our communities. But the person who studied 15 years, got a degree, got a master's degree, is qualified, we can't take from.
Because he's Ikhwani. But then if you think about it, would you let somebody who's not a doctor, who doesn't have any degrees, he didn't with the doctor, he have not with the medical school at all, and he's going to perform on your child, right? Versus someone who's actually a qualified doctor, right?
No, and
you're not going to do that.
We're not saying that a degree proves that a person who doesn't have a degree doesn't mean he doesn't have knowledge and he can't teach. But Sheikh Fawzan said a degree shows that you can teach. The degree, it shows that you can. When you don't have a degree, you have to prove that you're able to teach. But a degree already shows that.
Exactly. And the issues about degrees, because a lot of people think that degrees sometimes, well, a person can have a degree, but he can be a deviant. He can be this. That's true. That's not the issues about degrees. Degrees are very important, especially in the academic world, as Sheikh Fawzan actually explained. And most of the mashayikh, when they went through the academic process, and Sheikh bin Baz was one of the founders, and you can quote me on this, inshallah, and checked that one of the founders that supported the University of Medina. So he didn't have a degree at that time.
No, he didn't.
But a lot of the mashaykhs, and he actually support the system of degrees and so forth.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
The issue comes in when a person has a degree and he relies on that degree over the fact of his Islamic knowledge. And that person really doesn't have the necessary Islamic knowledge, but he got a degree and he passed. That will be the issue
Exactly.
come from. We're not talking about those type of people. We're talking about people who are religious, who have the religious knowledge, but they only obtained a degree because they went through the process.
Exactly.
That's the people we're talking about.
Because they wanted to do something else higher in that field, so they needed a degree to prove it. Now,
Exactly.
we're not saying that without a degree doesn't mean that you're not just as knowledgeable as the one who has the degree. You might be more knowledgeable. We're not saying that. But a degree does prove, and it does show, when you show a piece of paper, shows that now you're able to teach a particular science. That's all it shows.
You have an individual who's young, and here he is. He have a fatwa. He has a fatwa online channel, a YouTube channel. He gives it on Saturdays. He gives fatwa questions. I don't know anyone from amongst the students. I know students ask him questions. Don't get me wrong. I know there are a lot of brothers out there that are strong, that can even answer questions. But who have extended themselves, besides the shuyukh, the ulama, extend themselves to do fatwa back to back like that?
SubhanAllah.
Who? I don't know nobody.
And he's
like
able
that.
to.
And he's able to. So what I'm getting at? That type of caliber, that's a caliber. People understood that. When Imam Shafi, when Abdullah Bukhari was 18 years old, Imam Shafi, when he was young, 20 years old, when you had Imam Nawawi, you had all of these scholars that were young, and they was in fields. They wanted them to be a judge. You understand what I'm saying? They wanted them to have these type. That's what you see in biographies. So when you see stuff like that in front of you, you can't be sitting there saying, from
amongst your own people though, in America.
Come on, Aki.
And we look down on it. You know why? Because we don't respect knowledge.
I just can't. That can't pass over me like that. I got a little bit of street smarts. That just can't pass. You're not going to tell me a guy who spent 6 months to a year in Yemen, right? Who haven't finished one science. Somehow, it's. I suppose he's not Ikhwani because he's screaming out the top of his mouth, Salafi, 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 and then this other individual who's teaching Hadith. By the way, Hadith.
All his classes be from the books Kutub al-Sitta. They be from the books of 6 books of Hadith. All of them.
Hadith. It's just, you know what I'm saying?
Naming his men and everything.
Come on, okay. We have to stop that. So I just say, brothers and sisters, this fitna, what it shows us, and we don't, we're not saying to look ill at any of the shuyukh, Sheikh Ubaid or Sheikh Muhammed Haadee. I'm not telling anyone to make sides. That's not, I don't know everything in detail, but I'm just saying at the end of the day, our brothers, Salafi Publications and Co., they owe a lot of people apologies. And they need to stop this stuff what they're doing before they become further more exposed. And a lot of people need to stop following people just because they like their personality. You need to start following people based upon ilm. As Allah Jalla wa Ala said, وَلَا تَقَفُوا مَا لَيْسَ لَكَ بِهِ عِلْمٍ. Allah says in Surah Al-Isra, do not follow anything you have no knowledge of. Right? So you must make sure there's 2 things that a person possesses if you're going to follow him. As Sheikh Uthaymeen mentioned in his book, Kitabu Ilm, he said that they must be qawi, they must be strong, and adhering to that which is of the principles, and they also must be trustworthy. It's not, it's not trustworthy when a group of brothers get together and agree anonymously that such and such is off it, but no one got proof or dalil why he's off it.
That's
it's
the thing.
Just that,
That's the thing. And Muhammad bin Haadee looks like he had a lot of detailed reasons why these people was off it. Now I'm saying that could have been his ijtihad, and I'm not saying you have to take that. But all I'm saying is that he had detailed statements, and what he had, he presented it. So at the end of the day, do we take his refutation of Sheikh Ubaid, of Sheikh Abdullah Dhafari, which Salafi Publications just put Abdullah Dhafari out there. They was pushing him out there. They did a lecture with him. Now, if they don't come out and say anything about Abdullah Dhafari, and they don't say anything about Sheikh Ubaid, right? After this detail, because to them is a detailed refutation, then don't now those principles apply to them? Don't that make you now off the sunnah? Because you have a scholar? Because you say the scholar says something about him. Because let Sheikh Ubaid say something about Shadid.
And the problem is that's not even the real issue.
That's what I'm saying.
Because that's over there. The real issue is our community.
Exactly.
So how do we get together and move on with our communities? Yes, there are brothers from amongst either side that I like. I might like listening to. I like the delivery. I like the way that they disseminate knowledge. But I'm not going to sit here and have to choose one or the other. I'm not going to do that to split and divide my community. So you laymen are playing a part in this.
Yep.
When you sit there every 5 seconds, someone mentions somebody and you want to bombard their page and start putting up refutation after refutation. You're doing that just to be a fitna.
If you stood up in the masjids as a community said, we didn't come here for that, just teach the book, say what the scholar said, we don't want to hear anything about your refutations, we don't hear anything about those brothers, be quiet about it. If people stood up and said enough, it would be no room for this stuff.
Not at all. Actually, if you start learning, you might find out that the people that are teaching you might not be qualified. You might amaze yourself if you really start taking the time out to learn. And that's the problem. The fact that we remain at this level, we allow anyone else who at a level even lower to be in front of us. And we hold this, it's just backwards. We have to stop this stuff. We really have to stop the stuff and start to move forward for our communities. How do we stop our youth from being angry for no reason? How do we stop our youth from sitting there killing each other for every solution that's the solution that they have? Whether it be a family member, they would actually kill a family member. This is what's going on. How do we stop that? You want to give me a lecture? Give me a lecture that bring me hadiths and ayahs to help me in this spiritual decay that I'm in.
We're in a country right now where children are committing suicide. It's like an epidemic. 5-year-olds, 8-year-olds, 11-year-olds are hanging themselves from being bullied on Facebook or bullied at school. They're going home and killing themselves.
And then you got a group of individuals who are saying we're just going to ignore all of that.
Or they just come with the hadith of whoever kills himself is in the hellfire. They're going to keep killing themselves in the hellfire. That's the solution to suicide? That's your solution to these children killing themselves? I mean, at the end of the day, people, again, when are we going to stop being busy? If you look at the situation, people are moving forward. Imam Muslim Center, you have the Mekteb Ibn Taymiyyah, you have other things going on. You have the brothers with a restaurant now, getting their own businesses together. Things are happening.
Germantown. They bought the building next door to them.
And they bought the building next door to them. These are things we should focus on. These are things we should focus on. But again, they've created a culture where now it's out of their hands. Because even if they want to stop, the laymen are so saturated with this culture, they probably can't even stop them at this point. They probably can't. They probably the commoner probably start refuting them if they tried. That's where we are. They might start refuting them. They might have pitchforks and fires at the masjid.
Man never seen Shadeed. He don't even know why you hate him.
Yeah, he just hate him.
He running around with a scholar name he can't even pronounce correctly.
The scholar said something about him. What scholar?
Scholar so-and-so said something
Sheikh Obey said, Sheikh Obey said it. What did Sheikh Obey say?
You don't even know the scholar name.
Yeah.
You can't even pronounce it correctly,
Yeah.
but you sitting there talking about the scholar said this.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Like, we got to be real. You know, and alhamdulillah, you know, it is some progress. And I like that our brother Isa brought that out. You know, I don't get off in the seam now. You know, it's like a reunion right here.
This is the reunion.
You know, it is real. You know, there have been progress. And in order to continue this progress and this good energy, we have to start refocusing ourselves on what matters for ourselves and our families and our children. And we have to remove ourselves from the cloak of refutation, unjust refutation. We're not saying that everyone is hunky-dory, everyone is just, you know, you just accept them and, you know, this ain't bid'ah. We're not saying that. Bid'ah does exist.
No.
The Prophet ﷺ wouldn't warn from it if it didn't. Allah Jalla wa'ala wouldn't warn from it if it didn't.
Kufr exists.
Kufr exists. You know, and all of these things exist. But we have to put down Shahr Sunnah. I gotta see this. I'm sticking with Sheikh Badr Utaybi advice on this.
And other than him.
Because right now, Shahr Sunnah is a beautiful book, and it's from the books of Aqidah, but it needs to be taught by someone who is well grounded in knowledge.
Nah.
Not to people who are basically jumping in and out of bar stools. Now stop lying to ourselves. Still getting high, still dipping into this chick crib or that chick crib.
Beating his wife.
Come on, still beating
selling
the woman.
drugs.
Let's just stop, we got to stop lying to ourselves. We know what we're doing. So we don't need that. I don't need you telling me the Salaf wouldn't greet so-and-so if he's standing over there and he's right there. Why? That's not helping me. Is it going to help me put down this 40?
And I'm telling you this right now. The environment that has been created from them teaching that book in an unjust way.
It's what you see now.
It's no spiritual growth.
It's what you see now.
It's what you see now. You see people in and out. One day he's on his deen, the next day, like they say, he ain't on his deen. One day the sister got all black on, look like she in Afghanistan. Next day she's swinging off a pole.
Why? Because she never did tasfiyah with tarbiyah.
No, she never did it.
How can you do tasfiyah with tarbiyah when someone telling you hate so and so because he's bid'ah, hate so and so because he's this? How? You can't do no spiritual stuff like that.
Nah.
But you want to know you want to know the oxymoron and all that? They would go to so and so though, who they know is a deviant, and ask them for money.
Yep.
They would go to so-and-so and deal business with it. You know, those adars go right out the door.
Because we see it. We'll find Salafi publications doing business with people that's Bahawi. People that they might even be Muslim anymore.
Come on.
Doing business with them, but then they tell you can't talk to somebody who they deem to be a deviant. You can't even, you got to go across the street, but you going on Hajj with these people. Hajj packages.
Yeah. Right? But you telling your community, yeah, the Salaf wouldn't stand for that.
But you stand for it.
Man, Abu Uwais Rahimahullah said it better. He said all of these noble names you keep shouting out, if they was to meet you right now, they'd put their thumbs in their mouth and get to running. Because that's the reality.
That's the reality.
They'll run away from you. Because we ain't holding up to it. Start addressing and demanding them to address the everyday issues in our communities. That's what I ask from the commoners. Demand from the people to actually address what's going on in our issues so we can deal with those communities. There's no way in the world that you got Christian societies and organizations feeding the poor more than you have people who say they Salafi.
Yeah, it's not. That's crazy.
That's beyond me.
That's crazy.
There's so many ayats in there about taking care of the orphans. There's so many ayats about feeding the person who's the sa'il, the beggar. It's too many ayats. It is too many ahadiths. So how are you going to tell me that people who are Salafi and the communities, and you see the tweets, alhamdulillah, the community is progressing. Seriously?
Well, they'll show pictures of people at the lecture praying. A bunch of people praying at the lecture, showing the numbers that came to a lecture. That's progress to you? When you live, when your neighborhoods are destroyed, your neighborhoods are wrecked. You live in wrecked neighborhoods, war zones.
The ijazah that me and brother Isa got, alhamdulillah, because many people don't even know what an ijazah is, or when did he even institute the term ijazahs. First of all, that was in the terms of hadith, if you want to start using ijazahs, and how many different types are there. But the ijazah that me and Isa talking about right now is street ijazah, community ijazah, dealing with your brother to brother, sister to sister. I don't need an alim to come and say, yeah, you can speak about your brother not being a brother to you. You can speak about your sister not being a sister to you. You can speak about there's no programs for the people who are misfortunate.
I don't need an alim to tell me I can't speak about the ghetto because I know the ghetto better than he does.
Come on. You ain't going to find no alim telling you that.
In fact, Sheikh Mahmoud Luthi Ahmed said it best. You know your people best. You know what they need.
Come on. You're not going to find that. You need an ijazah for this, and that. That's just let's take that speech to try to deter you from what's the reality. The reality is, why aren't the people you holding up talking about these issues?
Well, first, Allah this messenger gave you the ijazah when he said, give information from even this one ayah.
You know.
Even if it's just one ayah.
But the point is, when they make statements like that to be sarcastic, it shows you that we so programmed to think that we can't talk about issues that are facing us every day.
Yeah.
Why we can't talk about these issues that we are facing every day?
Like I said before, they got mad at me when I said this months ago. You keep telling me to watch out for the boogeyman deviant, but the only boogeyman I see is the drug dealer, the dope addict, the murderer, the prostitute, the kid with the gun in his thing, the kid who hasn't graduated high school, the total chaos in my community. That's the only boogeyman I see.
Right?
That's it.
Tell me about it, right? You go to any suburbs right now, let me see if you find a rehab center there. Let me see if you find any drug addicts just hanging around in a bunch like we see in our neighborhoods. Will you see any bullet holes hanging around, so forth and so on? If you're an imam in any community like this, if your night prayer ain't your strongest defense, if you're not sitting there trying to figure out a way to get your community from suffering from that, something is wrong. Something is wrong. Don't sit here and tell me you ain't imitating the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. You're not imitating the Prophet.
Man, I heard people, say, I ain't worrying about these filthy kafirs. Well, I'm just going to teach Tawheed. I ain't going to worry about these people killing themselves. It ain't my problem. It ain't my problem. The Prophet had that. Did he have that understanding?
Not at all.
That these people don't matter, and long as they kill themselves and stay out of our way, we're going to be over here. Did he take that approach? No, he didn't. He did not take that approach.
So it's okay in people's best interest to keep you busy with refutations while your son is sitting there dying on the floor bleeding. It's okay while your son is running back and forth or your daughter's out here giving herself up and misusing herself. That's okay. Why? Because you're remaining firm upon the Aqidah. You're not talking about the people of, you're not dealing with the people of innovations. The campfire is not sown or it can't be seen. Oh, that's okay. Meanwhile, while you're sitting there in spiritual decadence, nothing is changing. We have to stop this. And I'm sorry that I keep going harping on there. I'm not trying to act like I'm more righteous than anybody. I'm just trying to explain that the bigger problems is the problems that we are overlooking. And that's why you hear the likes of Shadeed Muhammad saying the elephant in the room, because it really is the elephant in the room. You have to ask yourself why a group or organization that became so popular and that all of us are programmed to listen to, like Salafi publications, don't talk about domestic violence. Why? Why do
people amongst their group do it? So I mean,
not even just to pinpoint that, but we have to ask ourselves, why aren't they talking about these issues? We could talk about the Khawarij all day. We could talk about terrorism all day, but let's talk about the terrorism that happened right here on our soils. Police brutality.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that. Nobody want to touch these hot issues. And then the people that touch the hot issues, all you can do is criticize and say, well, yeah, that person, he's Ikhwani. That person, he got deviation with him. But you left it up to them to talk. And you the one who was to be the most knowledgeable about the Sunnah. You should have been the first one to talk about it.
And the funny part is that all these deviant people, you call them deviants, these masjids, they involved in the community. But the people with the truth, not involved in the community. It's funny because 5 news flashes. Right now, listen. I haven't seen a deviant. I've been back in Philly for a whole day. I haven't seen a deviant yet. But I have seen 2 young men, African American men, right? Did a shootout. Tyler was killed and the father was killed. A young girl was strangled somewhere on Germantown Avenue, neighborhood called Beirut. They found her strangled to death. Now that's all today, right? And I still haven't seen a deviant. I still haven't seen him. I'll be honest with you. I still haven't seen him. Not one, not yet. We came from down the street, down at the restaurant. May Allah let the brothers get the restaurant and let it be established to aid the Muslims. Came from down the street from the restaurant. See, I don't know how many addicts we've seen on the way down. Still haven't seen that deviant.
Still no deviation. It's deviant here, but come on.
Well, where
are they at standing there calling you in droves? Where are they?
Give us them by name and show us that they call to their deviant, that they're outright danger to our community more so than what's in front of us every single day. I'm not saying don't speak out against deviancy. I'm saying you can make a whole lecture on it. But why we got to keep talking about the same thing over and over again? We already know 45th Street is not on the Sunnah. We already know this the Ahmadiyya movement. Okay, explain it. Give pamphlets out. Explain it to your community. But then let's get back to work.
I guarantee you, brothers and sisters, if we pick down this petty refutation stuff, I guarantee you we start really working together, what we need to be doing, you're going to find that there's going to be a lot of problems from other people and other societies that don't want us to work together.
No.
And you're going to find that there's a lot of brothers who know this, and yet they have, for some reason or another, turned a blind eye and not dealt with these issues. And we're not saying that all politics. And I had one brother, he mentioned to me, we heard that the likes of Sheikh deals in politics. And the reality is that all politics is in haram. You have major mashaykhs that we respect and love to this day, like Sheikh Uthaymeen.
Well, she didn't able to tell me about a book, Islamic Politics. Barakallahu fikum.
Barakallahu fikum, right? So we have to realize that and then you have to look at it, we are the minorities. So who from amongst the Muslims is going to deal with the kuffars to make sure that we have a better position or a better standing?
Somebody got to speak for us, because Yusuf spoke for the Muslims in his time.
Who's going to do it? So we got to make sense. We got to make sense. They're telling you not to go to college, telling you not to do this and not to do that. You got to be realistic. You got to be realistic. The way that this society is set up, there are certain things that you must have in play. Okay? Who told you that? I remember they brought a guy back who led the Salat. He was from China, and he was up at Germantown. He was actually one of Sheikh Obeid's students. But guess what he was here for?
No.
Going to college.
SubhanAllah. And
guess what? He didn't go to an all-man college neither. He went to a college that got both males and females. He was going to Temple. You know how Temple is. He was going to college. So, we just have to be realistic, man. Stop letting people tell you that you can't do something. or this can't be done or that can't be done. First and foremost, know that these brothers are only striving to the best of their abilities. They are not scholars. They're not scholars in knowledge, and they're not scholars in piety. So we're going to stop putting them on that level. All of us. I'm even talking about myself.
Yep.
But we're going to aid one another and allow what we do know and what a person doesn't know to strengthen each other. That's how it normally works. You understand?
Mm-hmm.
Issa strengthens me, I strengthen Issa. Whatever I don't know, Issa knows, he strengthens me. Whatever he don't know that I know, I strengthen him. We aid each other in that regard.
Yep.
And that's what the brothers should be doing. And the ones that are more strong, we should be building a fort around them. And all of us participate and call to it because we really are the minority. Salafi publication and even Salafis here in the West and America, especially in Philadelphia, we are the minority. Do not be fooled. You are not the majority.
I don't care how many pictures you take of the master being fooled. You're the minority.
You are the minority. And if that's the case, you're in a bubble. And we got to get off that bubble, inshallah ta'ala.
Barakallah feek.
And don't forget, stay tuned for the Hadith Disciple channel. MashaAllah, alhamdulillah, and benefit. There's some questions and answers on there. There's also a lecture coming up from Sheikh Wyatt, Hafidullah, that will be taking place on January the 6th.
No.
Down there at United Muslims, whether you agree with them being, upon the Sunnah or not. The Sheikh is still down there. There are also other classes that's going around. Our brothers up there, even at the Al Hadith, they have classes that's going on Delhi. And you also have a lot of other brothers there, even Muslim Family Center. They are also doing the kid program, the weekend program for those who are in that vicinity or those who would like to send their kids there. They have a program that will be restructured. They also have other things that are going on. And inshallah ta'ala, for whoever live in that area where Imam Muslim Family Center is, they do need your support, both financially and both with your knowledge or in-depth skills that you might have, that you can go and help up there with that, inshallah, by the permission of Allah. Let's strengthen one another. Don't feel guilty. You still can aid Germantown. We're not telling you not to aid Germantown. Nobody never ever said that I ever said or Issa ever said.
Don't pray behind the
Don't pray behind that. We don't.
That.
That's not us. But at the same time, know that there are other things going on in the area that we all can share and spread that wealth to other people.
We're also going to be doing another night shift on group economics too.
Alhamdulillah. We're also going to try to put that together, talk about group economics, and speak to some people who are actually more knowledgeable than us in that area.
Yeah.
But we're going to do an interview with a brother. Alhamdulillah, he's real knowledgeable. He teach economic class, and we're going to sit down with him, pick his brain, and talk about some of that. Also, is another night shift. When I get the chance to go down to Georgia, I want to talk about the role of. I want to talk about the role of a father and a mother in terms of that, dealing with some of those challenges that we have as being mothers and fathers, and how Islamically, in light of Islam and Quran and the Sunnah, what is correct and what is not correct.
Night shift for Atlanta.
Jazakallah khairan. Subhanakallah wa bihamdik. Ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.
Nah, alhamdulillah.